into the first map. It is going to be Team Liquid again, and they are going to be taking on the team we just saw win the last match there. So they're going to be going up against Turbo, and we're heading right back on a Burial Chamber for this first map.
Well, we know Turbo's warmed up, huh?
Yeah, definitely, with the way that we saw them playing there. But the big question is, can they take down Team Liquid, who we saw earlier take out players like Grego and whatnot with relative ease? I mean, they knocked them out without much of a contest, unfortunately.
Yeah, Team Liquid definitely, you could tell they've been working on their strategy in terms of a team, and they have an approach. So it's up to Turbo to disrupt that. But Turbo also put in some nice work in their previous game and had some good defensive runs. So, you know, I'm just curious to see how that translates into this game, as the competition level is certainly going to get higher, and they're going to be running into guys like Rafa and, you know, Id and Hong. So it's going to be a little more difficult for them. You know, as I say, pressure from your opponent can really change, you know, how you play. It's a lot easier to play when you're not feeling that pressure and things feel free to you. And when players, you know, that competition gets up, it just puts that pressure on you, and it makes you a little finicky. You know, you start maybe question yourself a little bit, or, you know, things you might usually push and get aggressive. You know, you start thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't do that because of who you're playing against, and it can really affect you. So I want to see if they stay within themselves and continue to be aggressive and play.
Well, it is time to jump into it, guys. The 10-second countdown has begun, so we are getting ready to start off the first round here. We'll take a look if Team Liquid will be as dominant as we saw before when they took out their last opponents there in the round of 16, or if Turbo is going to be able to strike back and upset Team Liquid, who is probably one of the top prospects and probably one of the top rated teams in this for this new sacrifice mode here. So let's get started with it. We'll start from the perspective of Id, so he's already working with his teammate to just completely rip through, gets a triple kill there, but does die to the spit dot at the end of the day. However, that's not going to stop them from being able to get the initial soul pickup, but I'm Cool actually denies it there. They're going to be able to steal it away at the last second. They need to complete the run, and it looks like they're trying to go for the lava pit as well. They'll claim it. They're going to get it early on, but actually, no, at the last moment, I missed it. Team Liquid just managed to seal it away, so they're going to be able to get onto the point, and they're going to be able to take the lava pit.
Yeah, you hit with some nice rocket defense here, just plugging people as they come through those doorways. Just looks like they're getting settled in. So Turbo needs to be careful now, 'cause once they start getting stacks, and I don't know if they have a 2-on-2 like kind of rotation strategy. I'm curious. I'd like to talk and hear their mics. I really would.
Well, for the time being, Id and one more from Team Liquid are doing a great job of being able to hold things off over here at Obelisk B. Players on Turbo, they've yet to actually even pierce the veil here. They're sitting super far away. No one's even really close at this point in its current form. They're still 45 seconds away until the power-up, so there's no way they're waiting for that. It's just the fact that Liquid is working out, and as you were saying, there's like the 2-2 split amongst their players here. Well, they have 2 men out in the open running interference, and then 2 more actually sitting on the point defending. It's actually a pretty ingenious strategy, and you can see just how well it's working. This has been like 30 seconds since the last player even got close to the soul. So with that said, they're only just now getting up to it here. And even here, look, they're just getting torn apart. If they steal it, I don't imagine them they're going to get very far. It looks like, though, they actually were successfully able to overwhelm it. They do have the respawns coming back in, though, and I'm Cool. Even though they do move in, they're trying to contest it. I'm Cool is having problems getting it off for some reason. Finally, he gets it, but Rafa takes him down a moment later, and now they've restored control back up their Obelisk.
Yeah.
Just
power up now in 5 seconds. Power up in 5 seconds. Looks like Liquid should have this. So again, you know, Turbo's just not getting any momentum going right now. And I don't know much, but it looks like I called that 2-2 format the Liquid's running, because it seems to be working out really well for them. You got 2 guys running interference, right, running items, and you got 2 guys on defense. I don't know if they switch, you know, based on who's low and who needs to go out there and grab things, but it's working out for them, though. Clearly, the strategy. It's clearly a strategy they've worked on.
Dehang has the protection, and he's just now made his run back over to the other side of the map. He has good presence on this point, and once again, they're denying the attempts to steal the soul away, but they do manage to move in there and actually use the dual wield on the Blazkowicz to be able to move in, take out one of the bigger defenders and steal that away. Azanik takes back the soul at the last moment, just before players from Turbo are able to escape with it. And I mean, Azanik's even going to take some time to move in here and grab the full armor before attempting to run back over. It's still relatively infested with players from Turbo, so he needs to be a little bit careful going back in. Just diving in would probably lead into an immediate re-theft of the soul, so wants to make sure that they can clear that out before he puts it back on the point, like they've done just now, and they're going to continue to press on now, almost at 90%. The guys from Turbo haven't even gotten a single point yet.
Yeah, clear, good communication there by Liquid. You could tell that AZK was told not to come back initially, right? So he grabbed that heavy armor, as you pointed out, and took his time getting back. And I think once they said, "Hey, try, you know, dive on it now," and he came in and they got cap. So good job by Team Liquid. You can really see the coordination and communication with their members.
Rafa up on top here now, trying to deny the Soul, and they did get it off the point. Surprise, however, as one player does try to jump onto him. That's X, doesn't work out. Now Rafa's still going to be in a bit of a tight pinch here as he is trying to move in to deny the run, but I'm Cool takes him down, takes it a second player too, and I think they may finally be able to get this thing off the point and over to their side of the map, but maybe not, as Dahang is running interference a little bit here. Soul's still under the control of the guys from Turbo, but they've not completed the run just yet, as they are still trying to get it over to the other side. Pineapple will pick it up once more. More players standing in the way. That was Dahang blocking them now, but I think they finally will have a clear path, but at the same time, there's a power-up spawn about to go in, so Pineapple has to hold this back to make sure that his team can get a pickup on the protection, which they do, and now we'll be able to finally get that Soul onto their point, and also deny Liquid from getting the nice 100 round.
That big power-up pickup, they didn't get that power-up. It was probably all for naught with that steal. So big pickup there for Turbo. So now, though, they're so behind it. 97% to 0 is a huge lead. So they got to come up with some big defense right now and get every power-up that spawns.
Looks like they are just barely holding on to it in its current form. Riggs jumping back in. There's players from Liquid that are getting very close to kind of getting in here and getting close to a steal, but the first wave got held off. So guys from Turbo will get some points for that. And now Riggs in a tough spot here himself. He might actually go down. Yeah, he's going to get taken down by it a little bit there. So it's opened up a pathway through the full armor spawn route that they can actually run in this room. And there's no one defending it right now. It's just wide open. Everybody from the side of Turbo is completely outside the point. So Liquid's going to be able to waltz right into this. Only just now are players coming back and contested, and they're much more focused on Pineapple, or excuse me, they're much more focused on id up on top here. They thankfully get it back quickly after id makes an attempt to steal it away, but still, that was a bit dangerous there going that far off the point. They almost just handed it away into the hands of the players from Team Liquid.
We've seen them do this against Fury Force. Liquid also needs to be careful about letting them get settled in on defense. This next power-up in about 40 seconds can be pretty darn critical, especially if Liquid can't get a steal. They may need this power-up to decide the game. I'm
Cool continues to do a great job on defense, but all of a sudden Liquid comes in with a big group of players. They've got the Soul, they've got that under their control, so now they're going to try to make a run with it. Id has it. He's trying to find a clean route to get outside of the site, and he finally gets it, so he'll complete the run outside at the very least. Still has to make it halfway across the map, though, and there's plenty of players sitting in the way. Gets the armor, but only at 40 HP currently, so he's got to be a little bit more careful here. Not only that, but again, the step just coinciding with the spawn of a power-up here, so if Id wants to make sure they can get that, they also need to be worried about this power spawn, because you can just see it here. Players from the side of Turbo are spawning down below, and Riggs, he's going to be able to catch that tossed orb and now throw it back over to the other side here as they once again get it back. And not only that too, but the players from Turbo, they did just get the protection power up. Are they going to be able to keep it though is the question.
Lost it. Yeah, they just lost it. I think AZK is the one who stole it.
Yeah, he has it now.
I'm switching. Yeah, switching through my spectators. So it looks like Team Liquid will probably close out this round with this power up and Soul Steal.
Oh, so close to it. Thankfully, that protection saves them here, so they'll get it inside. 99% now. They're so close. They just have to kill this wave, and they'll be able to claim it. But he goes down at the end of the Riggs. However, they jumped off the point, and they kill the last players that were trying to offend upon it. So Liquid, they don't get upset there again in the same way that Turbo did the same thing on Fury Force back in map 1 of their last set. Liquid does indeed claim round 1, but not necessarily in the cleanest of fashions, at least in the way that it was looking like it was going to go at the beginning of that round.
Yeah, they got off to a hot start, but Turbo can take something from that, in that round and be like, hey, look, when we got a little organized, we got the Soul, and we started defending properly, we got a bunch of percentage points of our own. So they just need to, shape up their team coordination and get on top of those power-ups a little better, I think will certainly help them out. Nothing like a quad or a protection to help equalize things.
And there we go now. We do have the Soul out in the open. Originally picked up by the players from Turbo, but it's going to go the other direction now. And actually, Dahang, looked like they were going to take the church obelisk this time, and that's going to be the way they go with it. So they work their way over here. They'll take obelisk A initially, and a lot of players over here from Turbo are trying to push back in and immediately steal this as they were doing in their last series, but it's not working out as well this time. Liquid holds the line, although they did let the Turbo, or excuse me, they did let the Clutch sneak back in. A player from Turbo on the Clutch, excuse me, sneak back in there, but they took him down too, and they are holding control as Dahang just going ham outside here, picking up multi-frags, but he's lost all of his teammates now. Got a little bit distracted by some of that fragging potential, and nicely done. Dahang denies another run. I'm Cool will pick up the remnants of it, but he's completely surrounded, so not going to be able to escape with that at all. And Id will just make the toss back inside of the obelisk and re-secure that first team as they push up on 20% now that they have finally secured the point. However, Id's going to find himself in a bit of a rough spot here. Trying to run interference on the outside, but does catch himself completely surrounded. So AZK is also going to have to push back as the Soul gets pushed outside. He can actually just run in, casually pick that up, send that back, and make the original theft a bit useless here. They still have the numbers advantage for Turbo on the inside, but this could quickly get turned around by Dahang as he just uses stealth to reposition, and now he can get some good spray damage on the rockets. Misses that though, and now the Anarchy leaps out, and he actually just dives off the map to reset the Soul's position. That's something I've not seen before. That's actually a pretty smart move, but it's still not going to work out as Liquid picks it up anyway, and are going to run it back in this direction.
Now, I like it. A little desperation, but you know, hey, you try to do anything you can at this point because they're really struggling to get in there. I mean, with Team Liquid defending, it just seems like they can't. Even when they throw it out, there's a Team Liquid member there waiting.
Liquid got this next power up too, so they are going to be able to hold control of things now that they have the quad under their arsenal. The original spawn for this round have a little bit of trouble hitting those rails, so he's actually going to be able to maintain control of it, thankfully. But 4 players pushing back in, and he actually will finally go down to Pineapple, and it's in a straight run for I'm Cool. So now the Clutch has control over the quad. Doesn't have a whole lot of time left on it here, but still does some great damage, and now has stolen the Soul. Just has to make the run out, but he can't do it. Rafa takes him down just before he escapes the point.
Your team has the Soul. Your team has the quad. Impressive. Enemy has the Soul.
Again, and that's a nice turnaround. They just can't seem to get it back to their spot. You know, you almost got a nice little run there to get it, but it's in the balance right now. But Team Liquid really is all over them. It's gonna be really hard for Turbo to turn this around, based on what I'm seeing. Something's gonna, I don't know. They really need to get every power up to help them out, it seems like.
Riggs knew they weren't going to get out of there with that Soul, so he just tossed it off the map again. But I think Liquid read it, so now they use that strategy once. I think that's something that you can't really do multiple times though, unless you already have control over middle. So the problem here is that Liquid stole it, but I'm Cool actually got it back, so he's going to bring it over here. Once again, denies the 100-0, and we'll get the first cap for the red team here for the guys on Turbo. Well, Liquid is only up at about 45% this time. It was a little bit more desperate last time, so Turbo actually probably has a decent chance here now.
Yeah, definitely. They should be thinking they're in a good spot. If they can show good defense like they did last game, they can even this up.
For X, oh, he'll leap in. Well, to his death, unfortunately. There's just a big stack of Liquid players right there.
And a big power up in about 10 seconds. So let's just see which team is able to secure this and make a run with it. Obviously, Turbo really needs this power up to keep things going and the momentum going for them.
This is actually kind of hilarious. Liquid started tossing the Soul off the map now too to reset position. So I think Liquid saw Turbo doing it, and they're like, "Oh wait, this is actually a pretty good idea." So they started doing it now too. As I think it was Dahang that just tossed it off the map himself and then went over to mid to re-get it so that he could kind of reset positions a little bit. As far as the power up is concerned, though, that went very handily over to Pineapple, so he does have that under his control. And now they're going to be able to steal the Soul with that one. Trying to make a run outside, doing massive damage just with the default SMG too. LG now under his arsenal, and he will be able to clean up the rest of Liquid. And oh, hold on, he's not clean. He's not home free yet. Yeah, he actually gets denied just before he gets on top of it. And now AZK will pick up both the quad and the Soul and try and run it to the other side. But close-up fight. Riggs knows how to fight that quad. Just get right next to it, make it harder to connect the shots. And with that, he is able to trade it back. But Dahang will still end up with the pickup for Liquid. And now they run it outside of the red team's base. Takes it through middle. Is he going to go with this now? He's running a good interference with 5 HP. I'm Cool. Shuts it down again.
Enemy has the Soul.
This time, we will end up seeing the Soul being picked up. And Rafa just keeps going all over the place. And oh, AZK moving in there as well. Dahang stole the second kill, but AZK knew it was going to be close contact, so we just switched over to the Gauntlet. He almost got a double kill with it.
Several times I think I've seen him dive in, you know, full speed and just switch the Gauntlet and get somebody with it.
I mean, when you end up in like a 3v3 fight in one of the hallways, it's just so chaotic that it's honestly viable at that point just because of how much damage it'll do. And oh, all right. A little bit of a mistake there from AZK, as he does just give himself to the death god there with a rocket to the floor. So he's going to knock himself out. Dahang now is going to try to run interference as the red team does steal the Soul away. That's going to be Turbo making a run to the other side. But look at this. Dahang's stealth pod worked out great. Teammates is cleaned up. He ran up top and now completes the run back over to his obelisk as Liquid is pushing up on 70% now.
Power up spawn in 15 seconds.
Again, they're in dire straits. They need a steal, and they definitely need this power up. Definitely need that. Power up's gonna be huge.
A little bit of a rough fight here, having to go up against the Clutch. Thankfully, it came in from the backside with the super shotgun there and cleaned up pretty quickly. Power up on the ground. However, they didn't pick it up initially. They had about 3 players there from the side of Turbo, but Dahang leaped over top, stole the protection. Now they've got it, and they're well over 90%. It's not even looking like there's a lot of presence from Turbo near that obelisk either, so if they don't turn this
probably a
around
wrap.
soon, this is going to be the round win for Team Liquid and the map win as well, as they already have a 1-0 lead here. Last-ditched attempts are moving in now at 99%. We do have the Blazkowicz using dual wield, not going to work out, and now Dahang just going to body block, stop anyone else from getting onto that point, and there you go. It's a 2-0 from Team Liquid as they claim map number 1.
Impressive second round. They didn't even let Turbo get anything going on that one compared to the first round. I mean, even still, they started off in dominant fashion in round 1, and Turbo got a little momentum, but here in round 2, it was just all Liquid.
Yeah, it took them a little bit to get used to what exactly Turbo were doing and how exactly they were playing the field there, but after some adjustment, they definitely moved in, they took control. X, unfortunately, while he was great at running the Soul in the first round, his frag total was really low. I think pretty much everybody in the server there was over 20 kills, but he was sitting a little bit lower, down at 12, so he definitely seemed like he was struggling a little bit in that match, so hopefully he can improve upon himself a little bit going into map number 2, which should be, we'll see that in a second as soon as we load back into the lobby, exactly what map number 2 is going to be. Let's take a look.
I'm curious what they pick right now. They're really up against it. You got to give credit where credit's due. Team Liquid is a heck of a team, a heck of a squad, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Turbo right now. And it's really tough. I mean, I've been there. I know how it feels. The pressure and not just from the player, but everybody watching. And you want to do good. You want to get the Quake on, and so there's a lot of factors that play psychologically in these games, and so it's kind of interesting. Who can overcome these things and not let it affect their game.
As an important first step for Team Liquid here as well, so you can tell that they're going to be taking this very seriously. And it looks like we're heading back to Ruins again for map number 2, guys, so we will be jumping over to that map. And shouldn't be anything stopping us from going live. And in fact, there we go, so we can jump into the game now and take a look, see if there's going to be any different picks this time, or if things will remain relatively the same compared to what we had in the last map there. Dahang just actually changed it out. He was on the Knicks before. Looks like he's getting rid of that now to go over to a clutch. They did have some problems with having like a huge tanky character on points to defend, so I think that's why they might be changing this up a little bit now and going with a slightly more tankier roster, as I think there's also a scale bearer coming into the fold that we didn't have before from Liquid either.
I didn't get to see that 4th pick. It went in the map so quick. I didn't quite. I saw 3.
We'll see it in a second here as soon as we do load in, of course. So let's give this a moment, and then we can check out what the actual picks are. And this is only our first quarterfinal match, folks. We still have plenty more to go here. Loaded in now, so there we go. We can get a better look at it. As far as Turbo's concerned, I think they're staying exactly the same, but Liquid did change up a little bit. They're definitely running with a bit of a different layout of players and champions here now, just to take a look at it here since they're in warm-up. Rafa's now on the scale bearer. I don't think that was the same before.
Yeah, he was PJ last game.
Yeah. And Dahang, like I said before, was on the Knicks. He's now switched over to the clutch. They have a much tankier roster overall. I'm not sure it was. I think it was actually on the Rangers. I think that is the same.
Little change up. I'm curious, what the logic is behind it. Right, there must be something about the map that maybe they feel this lineup works a little better. Or I'm curious. I would really love to be in some of those team meetings. They hear what they're discussing and why they're making some of these decisions. I'm sure they're well-kept secrets, it's a secret recipe. You can't let everybody know.
I think just off of a quick observation here, I think that this map's a lot more open, and there's a lot more possibility of just an open 1v1 fight without coverage to defend themselves. So I think that's why they might have gone with a bit of a tankier roster, just expecting to fight Turbo more in open combat. So that might be why they've chosen to go with a little bit more of a tankier roster. I mean, we saw it in the previous matchups. There was just constant fighting. There was almost never a moment of peace where teams were backing out and deciding, yes, we need to fall back and regroup. They always felt, on both sides, really, when we were watching this map in the past, it doesn't matter who the team was, that they could actually go in and contest. But anyway, we've got the initial spawn moving in. Rafa, though, gets melted by the Sorlag dots there. He got the initial pickup, but he goes down just moments later. Now, the orb is in the balance here as Dahang is trying to chase it down. It did get picked up by the enemy Anarchy there, and he's going to be able to steal it and take it over to Obelisk B, but Dahang immediately is going to look to take it himself, and there we go. Oh my goodness, Dahang actually denies that at the last moment. Now steals the soul back, tosses that. Oh no, they actually tossed it down below. They missed the toss, so that could mess them up a little bit here, as there's a lot of contention downstairs in the full armor room. Now all of a sudden, the guys from Turbo have control over the soul back under their wing. They've just got to complete the run, as it is on the ground right now. Nobody has it. AZK ripping players to shreds with rockets, and Rafa charging in now, and this is where the tankier characters do come into play. One player is going to try to meet him up close, but Riggs can't get that kill. He did have to switch over to the SMG. Was trying to get it with the gauntlet, couldn't make it happen. I'm cool. Got the soul originally, stole it away. Now, once again, Liquid has reclaimed it and is trying to take it back over to the top point for themselves. But there's just so many gauntlet kills happening in this little alleyway here. It seems like Liquid got it, but there's still going to be contention on this point that id and some of these others have to be careful of. That dot is going to tear him to shreds. Soul on the point gets stolen again, but also reclaimed by AZK. And AZK, nicely done, a mid-air rocket to take down another defender here. I'm cool gets stuck, takes down himself, unfortunately, in that instance. So he will get knocked out here, but it looks like they've managed to tide the storm for now, or stem the tide of the storm, I should say, for now, as Liquid will hold initial control here, but they're still not done yet. There's still players from Turbo trying to poke at this point. I think
that was a big win in terms of the combat for that scrum. So one, they got the cap, and now they all Team Turbo was dying, and we got the power up right here. So Liquid gets his power up, they're in great shape.
There we go. Now power up moving in. It is going to be a protection this time. And Rafa, probably one of the better players to be able to pick this up, does get it. So that's very dangerous here now for Turbo. Especially considering they devoted all of their players to it. They completely abandoned any attempts to steal the soul away. Now Rafa's going to be able to move. And he can just stick in this fight for as long as he wants to with that protection power up. And you can see that ripping players to shreds. The dual wields on him as well. Knocks his opponent back. There was a good job from the Blaskovitz on the other team trying to juke away from that damage. But didn't work out. Still ended up getting pushed away. Last attempt from the Sorlag fails. And Liquid once again holds off another wave of players from Turbo as they hold control and are just about to push over 50% now.
Yeah, nice power up pickup. Rafa went back to secure the site, really cleaned it out for them. Took a lot of damage. I mean, he was drawing a lot of attention that really wasn't doing much to him. So Liquid in great shape right now.
Rafa again, still holding off here, trying to make sure that things don't get stolen away. Ooh, he gets sniped out by Pineapple though, so he is going to end up getting knocked out there. And the Hang and some of the others are actually pretty far away, so I think the Hang is just going to resolve to camp out on Obelisk A and see if he can stop this run from being completed. The soul currently being carried. Oh, actually, AZK turns it. AZK again with that gauntlet, man. He got one kill with it. I think he just missed the second one, though. I'm Cool is going to steal the soul away now, but nicely done. It snipes him out with the rail right before he gets away. And now Rafa takes back control of the soul, and looks like he's got a relatively clean path over to the other side. Maybe one or two players going to get in his way, but he's got like 2 or 3 of his own guys sitting behind him, too. Nice rocket jumps there from Rafa. This nice clean route. Gets himself right back over to his obelisk and is going to be able to hold control of that.
Yeah, it looks like Liquid in firm control. I don't think, unless Turbo gets something going, I don't know if this power up will make any difference. They're gonna have to steal it at the same time with the power up, I think.
Yeah, and the clutch. The clutch is attempting to do that, but it doesn't seem like that is working as well as it was in Turbo's previous matchup here. The spawn does come in, and it's going to be picked up by Liquid of all things. So the worst part is it's not a quad either, so it's not as easy to take down the carrier of it. It is going to be the protection, which just makes it that much more annoying. Last few attempts to steal it coming in now, but it's not going to happen. Round number 1 will end in the favor of Team Liquid, 100 to 4.
Yeah, not enough time there. Even at the end, they couldn't make a rush. Good defense by Team Liquid. They really were locking down the obelisk, especially compared to Burial Chamber. It seemed like they settled in on this map, and I don't even think they hit 10%.
Nope, they did
4%.
4%.
Yeah, 4%. So dominant round for Team Liquid. And they got both power ups, both major power ups.
Yep. Starting it off here again, both teams going to try to get control down to the mid room. And actually, Liquid's struggling with it a little bit. They're losing a lot of their players early on, so this might be an initial pickup from the guys on Turbo. They will get it. However, it's trying his best to deny it. Leaping away now. That dot's going to hurt though on a Ranger. He doesn't have as much health to try and eat up all that damage. So he's down at 26. Trying to get creative with the dodge. Makes it halfway out of the room, but I'm Cool does take him down now, and he's going to make a run with it. Let's see. No! Sniped out by Rafa, and that soul should now drop down to the depths. So Rafa is going to pick it up, and at this point, really just going for the closest obelisk so they can claim something. And there we go. They get it out in the open over here in the garden.
Interesting in that instance, you just said, right, the heck with the closest obelisk. I'm not sure that's their favorite, or I'm wondering even if they have in their conversations, it doesn't really matter, just go for the closest one so we can set up defense. So I'd really like to hear what their thinking is on it.
You can see Soul going all over the place here, and the Hang. Sorlag's been a bit of a problem here for the Hang, as on some of the other players from Liquid too. The Spits are actually pretty good. They constantly are keeping the health pools low here, so kind of priming it up so that when other players Turbo move in, they try to finish things off. And the Hang again up on top here. Now going to try to send some players out, but they are not letting him do that. The shield saves his life here. He's trying to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but he does actually have to back up. So all three of the players currently pushing for Turbo on that point are going to be able to do it freely. X just barely makes it out of the immediate room here, and almost gets run over. Rafa, some great timing there. If he was a second or two earlier, or excuse me, a second or two earlier, he probably would have actually just run over X through the portal. That would have been super clutch. Doesn't make it happen.
Yeah, he ran over I'm Cool on the way there, though, so that worked out good for him.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
So that just would have been the cherry on top right there if he got a double kill with it as well.
Yeah, it was choo-choo train time if you got the other one.
Your team has the quad.
So for I'm
Enemy
Cool
has the
here,
quad.
even though
Enemy
Liquid
has the quad.
did manage to
Your
get
team
themselves,
has the
oh my goodness, the
quad.
quad is just getting tossed all over the place. Pineapple has it currently, which is great for him, but that shield's in the way, so he can't actually do any damage with it. Finally, the shield gets out of the way. He takes down AZK, sniping down Rafa at range with the SMG, clearing out those remaining reinforcements here as Turbo is allowed to finally hold control over Point B. They're going to be able to take that. He continues to do it again, just knocking out players as they show up here. Liquid realizes this isn't really going to be possible for them to contest with this quad alive and with Pineapple being on point with it, so they do back up. But oh no, the guys from Turbo get a little bit too aggressive, and they do end up pushing in a tad more than they needed to. The dual wield popping out from Pineapple, though, may just save the day, as it is pushing to hang back, and once again denies the attempt to steal it, as it looks like in a second Turbo's going to close the gap. And I think for the first time so far in this match, Turbo's actually going to have the lead here.
Yeah, definitely for the first time. Unless they got an early cap and maybe one of the rounds. So I'm pretty sure this is definitely the first lead. Turbo's been up against it the whole time, but good steal there by Team Liquid. And I'm wondering if it's going to turn around from this point on. That was big, though, because Turbo was able to get the power up, and they need to follow suit. They need to keep doing that.
Might be a short lead, however, as we did see, again, the guys from Liquid being able to steal it away with relative ease. Now they just need to be able to complete their run here. As in a moment, it is going to complete that run back over here to point A. Gets it onto his obelisk, and they're going to look to reclaim their lead in about 3 seconds or so. As the guys from Turbo do look to hold back for a few moments. And yeah, again, going in solo here, really not working. Liquid has a good stack of players. They have that two-man team built up. The Ranger is getting a little bit low, actually, and they just took down the second one, so now is when they can push back in and try to take this away, and that's what they're going to do. Pineapple steals it. They've got the soul, however, Pineapple is quite low, and he's going to run through mid just as the power-up is getting ready to spawn, too, so this may not be the smartest option. Rafa now takes the soul back, tosses that into the pit. I'm Cool steals it away again, takes it back in the portal, but Rafa just is like a wall over here. You can't get past the man. He's going to get that soul back over to Obelisk A, and in the meanwhile, Team Liquid did take control over the protection in mid.
Yeah, when you were mentioning maybe not you know, trickling in to the point as they were doing and dying, I thought maybe they could have taken the time to regroup and position themselves for the next power-up. Now, you know, the Hang has it on clutch. He's a little stacked, and they're going to make the pace. This is a big defensive run here for Team Liquid after picking up the power-up.
The Hang still trying to hold on here, still trying to keep himself in check. He does get forced back a little bit, and he keeps peeking into this one. He's trying to just stop him from going for the point in general here, but he might lose himself. He still needs to save that for when they actually do push on to the point. He can't immediately recover his health. The guys on the red team over here, they're stacking up, so that's going to be a problem here as the Hang is allowed to go back into the fight, rip them to shreds. Riggs finally takes out the Hang, but regardless, the job has been done. And Team Liquid has successfully defended this point. I'm Cool. There's going to be the last few attempts to come in and steal this, and there's AZK again with the gauntlet. It steals it away at the last second, but he's doing some good damage with that thing. He does get tagged. He needs to get a dot. He needs to get a heal for himself relatively quickly, and thankfully have the injection ready. So that is going to save him from being taken down by the dot, but AZK still leaping back into the action, taken down by the LG from Pineapple, and now more start to push back in, but Id holds the line. He's low, 26 HP. His teammate's taking the brunt of the damage, and Pineapple will be able to move forward and take him down, but they're not even going to be able to get over to it in time, as Team Liquid did delay for long enough. And with that, they'll take control of map number 2 in a 2-0 fashion, and they'll also take control of this set. Same thing, 2-0. So with that, Team Liquid are going to be our first North American team to qualify for the North American Regionals.